Is the video you're currently watching AI generated? Or is it real? Nah, just kidding. It's real. Stay tuned because we're going to be talking about AI, how it complements what we do today, the disadvantages, and also how we can actually utilize it, and where do we draw the line between it being beneficial or is it just pure manipulation? Hey there, so yeah, today I'm here with Martin Uushona. Most welcome to you. Thank you for coming through, for making the time. Yeah,
Thanks so much for having me, man. It was a surprise when the media hit me up and like, yo, do you want to come on this podcast?
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like an imposter syndrome when you're like, I don't really have much to share. But I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and go through with it. So yeah, thank you for having me.
No,
Thank you for having me in this beautiful, beautiful studio. So yeah, all excited.
And it's, I think often when people like kind of invite you through for something, you're immediately thinking like, what am I going to say?
Yeah.
Do I even have like enough knowledge on this industry I'm in? And the truth is, yes, you do if you think about it, because look at the last few months of your life. Every day is kind of, it has been that, and you'd be surprised how much knowledge you gain on a daily basis, general interaction, and just based on what we have to our disposal nowadays, AI and all of that jazz. But I mean, that being said, tell me a bit about your story. Where did it all start for you? Yeah, floor's yours.
Yeah, thank you, man. So my name is Martin Uushona. I run a company called AudienceLeverage. So where it all started out was, born and raised here. I've always had a knack for content. So I was those kids that grew up on YouTube before these kids grew up on YouTube. So I know a lot of kids grew up on YouTube now, but I was one of them that, my upbringing was on the internet. So I think the most fundamental point where it started for me was my uncle actually got me a laptop in the 4th grade. So that was, I think the brand was Gigabyte, if I'm not wrong.
Gigabyte.
Yeah,
Nice.
Gigabyte. And it was like a 12-inch laptop, almost the size of what iPads are nowadays. It wasn't too big. I mean, it wasn't big at all. It was quite small. And that's where it all started for me. I think that's where I got my interest in tech, my interest in all sorts of videos. And so he gifted me that. And I just went down this rabbit hole of different types of content, gaming, and all these sorts of things. And it allowed me to tap into a wide range of arenas, right? And so, yeah, when I got that laptop, I then, a couple of years later, started creating content. I had a YouTube channel at 13 where I basically just shot like fun videos with my friends. It'd be at the back of
That's how it all starts,
Is that how it all starts?
It's fun videos, and before you know, you wake up and you're like, I'm trending, what's happening? You're like,
exactly.
jump on the high.
Exactly. And now I didn't care about the stats. Obviously, you look at like subscribers and whatever, but I wasn't too worried about, the stats of a video and all of that. I was just having fun.
Of course,
And so with that YouTube video, I did everything from production to almost output. So that meant the video I recorded myself, the editing I did myself, the thumbnails I did myself, and then uploading.
The words.
I learned a lot. A lot of the skills that I use today were based on the skills that I learned when I was
sort of the foundation, you established back then.
Exactly. So a lot of the skills, be it, design, be it writing, be it, just being a natural on camera, because a lot of what I do, I interact with people, virtually. So whether that's on a sales call, I'm not foreign to having a camera in front of my face and having to speak.
Freeze up type of thing. It's easy. Yeah.
And because I didn't want to make a lot of cuts and edits, I needed to learn how to speak as well. So I needed to, have a way of.
That's a smart way to dodge editing.
Exactly.
Right?
So it's like, how do I, do as little edits as possible, or I need to learn how to speak better. And so that's where I got my start. And thinking back now in that little laptop that I had, I would also write a lot of stories, like made up stories, like fictional. So I've always had a little bit of a creative mind and sort of a side to me. So I was studying chartered accountancy at UNAM. And so obviously with CA, it's a very corporate field. You're in finance.
Yeah.
8 to 9 hours a day, Excel, in front of a computer.
It's going to be the gist of it, yeah.
Yeah. And so I was just like, but no, man, this is not what I'm cut out for. I'm good at math, or I'm good at, numbers or chucking numbers, whatever, but this is not what I'm destined to do for the rest of my life. And so I was like, cool, I'm gonna give myself, so I finished third year of uni 2023. So I'm just like, cool, I'm gonna give myself 2024 to basically just try and see if something works out. And so what I basically, told my parents and everyone around me was like, cool, I'm not going to, so basically how the CA route works is that once you do the third year, you go to South Africa, do like 1 year, whatever. But I was just like, let me give myself 2024 to basically just see if something works. If nothing works, I'll definitely go back to doing the whole thing. I'll go to Africa, I'll go do my articles, and I'll come back. But yeah, I was like, cool, let's try and do this. And I think we were 3 months in, I was like, nothing's working. Time is running out. There's only 9 months left in the year. I need to get serious. So I start going for a few interviews at a lot of these finance companies. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm not going to do CA, but I'm going to go into investments. So cool. I made peace with that. I'm going to go into investments. I'm going to sort of find like an entry-level job that I can get into, get some experience. That was my whole kind of thinking. So I do that. A few rounds of interviews, rejection, nothing's working. But at the same time, I never gave up on sending emails to prospective people that I could help.
Of course not. Yeah, like there's also life, it's happening, but at the same time, there's also the dream on the side you want to keep pushing and keeping alive,
Exactly. So funny enough, in 2023, one of my homies, CJ, needed somebody to just start helping him with content and the whole gist of things. And so 2023, 2024 comes about. I start helping him with content. I'm actually helping him shoot. I'm helping him edit. And this is when the whole wave of short form came about.
I see.
So short form content was popping. Everyone's like, Instagram Reels was the new feature. TikTok was starting to like really, gain a lot more popularity than it already had.
Of course.
And so I was helping him shoot some stuff. And I just really got interested in this whole personal branding thing. And so I went down the route of, helping business people basically build their personal brands. That was the kind of it thing. If you looked into the business world, everybody was starting to start a personal branding agency. So that was something I was looking into while I was finishing uni, and that was kind of the thing that I pivoted towards after the whole email marketing thing kind of flopped. So I was like, cool, I'm giving myself 2024 to basically see if this personal branding thing works. So I was helping CJ out. At the same time, also sending emails to other business people who might be interested. And so 3 months into the year, nothing's working. And then I think May of 2024, I get a reply from one of the people that I sent an email to. And they're like, let's hop on a call.
Let's see if this, let's see if it can happen. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's hop on a call, and we're going back and forth on times. And I'm like, I give him a link so he can book in my calendar. But obviously, like, he doesn't do that. He wants more to just for us to set a time. So I'm like, cool, I respect that. Let's set a time. But we're going back and forth. I think from the reply to when we actually got on a call was a month of back and forth.
Imagine, yeah.
So I would get a reply, he would take a week, and then it's like, finally we came to a hard stop on a specific day and time. We hop on the call. I'm going on this long presentation about why he needs it. Frankly, looking back, there was no need for that. Like, that conversation could have been...
When you look at it now, yeah, you're like, I could have just given him what it actually established, kind of what it is he needs, and kind of give him the solution type of thing,
So there's an entire sales process now that obviously I've refined and I can walk through with people. But at the time, obviously, I'm a novice, starting to get my feet up again and stuff like that. So I walk him through this entire like 30 to 45 minute long presentation when it could have just been, what's your problem? What are you trying to get to? And how can I be the bridge between what it is that you want and sort of where you are right now?
Simple as that, yeah.
Simple as that. So
only could be that easy when you started, right? Imagine looking back at it all that time, yeah.
How can I be that bridge? And so, yeah, thinking back, obviously I could have done that, but ended up, he was kind of skeptical. So I was like, cool, let's do a sort of trial offer. Let's do something where I'll work with you for a quarter of the price that I want to charge you. And we can do that for like, I believe it was 14 days. So it was almost like a 14-day trial, almost like a software type thing. So we do this thing. I start basically creating LinkedIn pieces of content for him to help generate book meetings for his company. So basically what I'm doing is I'm writing content for his LinkedIn so that he can basically raise the level of awareness for his product.
I see.
So that more people can find out about what it is that he does.
Okay.
And at the same time, I'm also building him up to be a thought leader in his space so that if he wanted to raise additional funding for his company, that would be a lot easier. If he wanted to hire team members, it would be a lot easier. And overall, if he wanted to acquire customers, it would be a lot easier. So that's what I was helping him with, and that's what the content was basically aimed to do. So we started doing that, and it kicked off. Like
From there,
the first project had like 10,000 impressions.
Yeah. Is that safe to say that was kind of like that turning point of like the full jump into like digital marketing, digital realms?
Yeah.
That was kind of it.
That was when I knew, okay, I might be onto something here. I might have a skill that other people might find valuable here.
I see.
So yeah, that happens. And basically we then go on to sign for another longer period. So not just the trial period, but then he does extend it to basically a longer time frame. And yeah, we just start working then.
Yeah.
And now not only I've sort of integrated into the company, I'm helping with a lot more of the bigger company projects. And these are people who are not even within Africa, they're like abroad, right?
Abroad, yeah.
And so for me, that was like a major pivotal moment for me to be like, okay, cool. I may actually be good at something, right? You're always fighting this imposter syndrome of like, what, am I really good at this, or did I just get lucky?
And
I mean, there is some luck.
Of course, anyone needs a bit of luck, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot of, let's say, the younger generation perhaps think things happen overnight, or that it's the first try and success. And if that is the case, lucky you.
Yeah.
But in most cases, it's trial and error. I mean, no one actually, I mean, when I was grade 1, grade 2, you're kind of like, I'm gonna be a fireman, I'm gonna be a policeman. But life happens, and if you're adaptable and you're smart, and you kind of say to yourself, well, things have changed. And like you said, there was that turning point where like, okay, maybe email marketing isn't it, but look at what's trending.
Yeah.
Can I learn to do this skill and do it well and then offer it as a service?
Yeah.
It's part of being adaptable and kind of going with the times. And here we are today, right? And 10, 20 years back, when you were 13 starting your YouTube page, you weren't like, I'd be here.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes this journey so beautiful. It's also part of why we are here today, is we're talking digital marketing, right? And I think to take what you're telling me and just kind of branch off a little bit is that, okay, yes, now we have this little beautiful ecosystem, this thing we call digital marketing, and on top of that, to kind of complement it, but also becoming something completely beneficial, but also while this is AI,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
For the people watching at home, this is all AI generated. I'm kidding. So how's your feel of that? Do you feel like it's aided you in your journey? Yeah.
Ooh, AI, artificial intelligence.
Wild, right?
Wild.
The time.
So my first encounter with AI was, I think everybody's first encounters with ChatGPT. The fact that it could help you write an essay, it could help you with your assignment. And that first encounter trickled down into going down this rabbit hole of like, what else can AI help me with? So when it comes to digital marketing, it has aided me, or it has helped me a lot, like a ton, right? And I think I made the mistake of trying to outsource everything to it.
I see.
The creative side, the administrative side, the tedious side of things, even the fun side of things, which was fun to me.
It becomes easy. It's like this 24-hour assistant that is just there for you.
Exactly. So that was my first initial mistake, where I tried to outsource everything and I tried to make it do everything for me.
I see.
That was my first mistake, especially when it came to digital marketing. And I think AI collaborated or put together with digital marketing is a very powerful force, used in the right direction and used in the right way.
Of course.
And so for me, I think it's the biggest technological transformation, I think even bigger than the internet. Now, the internet obviously affected everything that we do and everything, but I don't think people understand just how much artificial intelligence is going to basically change how it is that we do everything. And I think what a lot of us think when we think of artificial intelligence, we're just thinking about the LLMs, which is the large language models. These are the ChatGPTs, the Claudes, Google's Gemini. That's what we're thinking about. But we're not thinking about the general scope of artificial intelligence, what it actually means in a broader horizon.
In a broader horizon, yeah.
These are robots, humanoids, basically robots that act like humans. They manufacture things, they can walk, they can talk, right? And all these sorts of things. And especially when it comes to digital marketing, when you can pay yourself with an AI and basically, sort of make it your 10x sort of accelerator, or maybe make it your sort of make it your assistant so that you can do 10x more output or 10x more better creative work. When you can collaborate it, when you can sort of work together with it like that, then I think it's a lot more beneficial than trying to basically say, cool, here's what I need you to do, here's what I need done, bye-bye.
Do it, yeah.
Do it. And that's not how the LLMs work. How these things understand all these things is context. And so what I've learned about AI is that now more important than ever, with a lot more people trying to outsource everything that they do to it, now more than ever, more important than ever, you need to actually be good at a skill. Because once you're good at a skill, you know what good looks like, and you know what bad looks like.
Very, very good point.
And so when you outsource the whole thing, you don't know what you're getting. Because then what you do is you outsource it and then you just take what it gives you.
Because we need to also keep in mind that, a lot of that content, information, it is drawn from somewhere and kind of pieced together, right?
Exactly.
But how you give that instruction, how you give it the exact wording to ensure the output you want determines actually how good you are at utilizing that. So it's a very good point actually there.
100%. So I think now more than ever, it's more important for somebody to actually pick a skill that they're good at and go as deep as possible within that skill and become so good that when you are to prompt an AI and when you are to work together with an AI, it's just going to 10x what it is that you're good at already without you, needing to do too much work. Compared to, or in contrast to, you being below average and now you're trying to become exceptional with AI.
Yeah.
You can get away with it, but then if you can get away with it, how many other people can get away with it if you're below average?
Exactly.
So for me, I think it's just now more than ever, you need to get good at one skill or a couple general skills actually. I think now more than ever, this is the age of the generalist. This is the age of somebody who can get good at a few skills and see how they can sort of intertwine all those different skills together. I think now more than ever, it's important to actually learn code. Funny enough, AI is making it easier to not need code.
Do not need shortcuts there.
Shortcuts and stuff like that. But now it's important to actually learn code so you know, like what I said, you know what good is. And you actually know how to debug code and you know how to do different sorts of works.
The intricacies,
The intricacies, right? And so when you actually understand something and you're relatively good at it, you can then pair with the AI to create something more exceptional with you.
To further complement your already existing skill set.
Exactly.
Sure.
So what I think about digital marketing and AI is that now, especially in this age that we're in, if there's so digital marketing is the umbrella of a set of skills. It could be copywriting, graphic design. It could be a wide range of skills, right? And so if you can get good at all these complementary skills and then use AI to basically 10x what it is that you've already learned and help you just create better output and faster, more efficient output, I think you're in for very, very good.
No, that's great. And
20 years.
I think it's also part of why we have these is even sitting here, I'm learning a lot, which is great. Right?
Yeah.
And it also brings me to my next point and sort of kind of the point we would include on today. We'll definitely elaborate, I think, more in a few of the upcoming episodes.
Yeah.
But an interesting thing I read scrolling on LinkedIn was, where do we draw the line between digital marketing, effective digital marketing, and at what point does it become kind of manipulation. Catches you a bit off guard. It's once again, it's taking where we started to the second phase, to this phase where branching off a little bit. But interesting question to ask, because I think a lot of people are probably sitting with that now, like, is this really effective marketing, or can we call it manipulation? What is your feel, your view on that?
So for me, where we draw the line is intent. What's your aim? What's your purpose? What is the intention that you're trying to achieve? What's the output or outcome you're trying to achieve with this thing that you're doing? So where do we draw the line between manipulation and efficiency? So manipulation for me is when the intent is more so for your own benefit without per se getting the doing things the right way.
I see.
Getting what you want, but not doing things the right way. So what does this look like? Let's say you're a supplement brand and you're just an up-and-coming supplement brand and you don't have influencer marketing is big right now. You don't have that many influencers and you can't afford it. So what do? You go on Google's. So Google has a new platform called Google VO, which is Google VO3, which is a video generating platform. You go on Google VO3, you prompt Joe Rogan speaking about my product in a good light. And then you give it like a script that Joe Rogan is going to read off of. And then what you do is everything is set up like it's Joe Rogan's studio, and
it's crazy to think we can do that now, right?
It's crazy we can do that now. A year before this, you would have never imagined.
Of course, yeah.
And then what you do is you make it look like Joe is actively promoting your product. And so the intent is that you want to get sales, but you don't want to go through the rigorous process of actually building your brand up to the point where Joe can actually speak about it.
That's a very
without
good point.
You having to maliciously or, kind of back into the whole thing, right? And so it's all about intent. So what's the line between efficiency and manipulation is that if your intention is to just basically cause harm or basically get it, whatever it is that you want out of your heart's desire without going through the right methods and the right way of doing things, for me, that's manipulation. And then when it comes to efficiency, it's that, let's say you had a goal of already working with a few influencers or working with somebody big. And efficiency would then look like, let's say, like this is an example of me and you, we're being recorded on a few cameras, right?
Yeah.
And let's say this was an ad for something. Then what efficiency would have looked like is, let's say I'm promoting your product, and then instead of having like 10 video guys basically edit the video, you choose a AI video editing platform, which then basically takes the footage, which is genuinely generated, and then you have the AI edited. That's efficiency, right? And so for me, that's sort of the line where it's like, it's all about intent, where efficiency is more so, it's something good and it's something that you genuinely did create. You genuinely did think about, script and ideate and all these things. You made it come to life. And now you're just using the tool sets or the tools at hand to basically just either create a better output or more efficient output without using too many resources.
Exactly.
So I think that for me is efficiency. And then manipulation is really when you just don't care. You just want to get your name out there. Just want to get your.
You don't think of the harm and the repercussions, of what you are doing. So.
Exactly. So for me, manipulation is very short-term thinking. And I think efficiency is more long-term, just using the skills or the tools at your disposal. So for me, that's, I think, where we can draw the line. And if a lot more people just kind of focused on getting or doing things better with the AI than trying to, come up with all sorts of things.
Trying to find shortcuts, basically.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because, there's to an extent you can use it to save time.
Yeah.
But shortcuts, as in there's no using it for a shortcut to success.
Yeah.
There are certain procedures that are there for a reason, and that also protects, I think, a lot of other variables that kind of complement the bigger scheme of things.
Yeah. 100%.
But yeah, that was a brilliant answer.
Thanks.
For the viewers at home, he did not know what was coming. So very nice. But that being said, as mentioned, we'll keep it short and sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming through.
Thank
Thank you for your knowledge, for your story, for joining us.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think definitely we're going to look at a few more episodes where we can dive into a bit more depth.
Yeah.
Because I can tell like your brain has got like this knowledge and you only gave us like a few percent.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your time. And yeah, we look forward to the next episode.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Bright and early. I think obviously the fact that we're doing this podcast in the morning also allowed my brain to kind of like get into its flow.
Stay fresh.
Stay fresh, you know, because if I did this in the afternoon, I would have been fried. So yeah, thank you so much, man.
Awesome.
All right, hey.
Hi, and thank you once again for joining us. Like and subscribe, please follow the page, and in the comments, if you have any questions, if you want to know more about a specific topic, if you want one of the previous guests to join us again, please let us know, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. Until the next one.